On your desktop, you can see an icon as XBRL. We need to simply double click on the same to open the software. Once you double click, you can see a login window appearing in front of you. In this login window, we need to enter the login ID and password as kept by us. We have kept it as login ID A and password A. From the scroll down option in company name, you need to select the company for which the tagging needs to be done, and then login. You can see this is the first page of our software, which indicates the process flow of tagging using this software. It indicates we need to do the financial tagging first, and in financial tagging what would be the process flow for the same. Then it would be fixed assets tagging, and thereon it would be in this order. We could also see certain tabs on the top as master, financial tagging, notes tagging, etc. Let's click on master. We can see company master, director master, auditor master, etc. As we click on company master, we need to click on add company. We have this company master page in front of us. In front of this SIN, we need to enter the SIN of the company we need to import into the software. So I'll enter a SIN right now. This would be the SIN. As I press on the pre-fill tab here, all the information relating to the company that's required here would get imported from the MCA portal. So we can see the company's name is Webtel Electrosoft Private Limited. We could see the address as well. Here we need to again enter the login ID and password, and we'll just simply press save. Record saved. Now, once I go to Director Master, I need to enter the DIN here for the director of my company. So I'll just enter here and I'll press pre-fill. As I press pre-fill, the director's information would automatically be imported into the software. Similarly, if I have 2 directors, 3 directors, we would enter the DIN of each director and press pre-fill, so the director's information would appear here and all the information for all the directors would appear here below. And again, simply we need to press save. Gender would not be automatically imported, so we need to select the gender here. Then we'll press save. Designation would also have to be selected. Information saved. Now, similar is the auditor master, but in case of auditor master there is no pre-fill option, so you would need to punch in the audit firm's name and various details in order to save them into the software. Now let's move to financial tagging. We have a tab on the top as financial tagging. We'll simply click on the same. Now, on the left side we could see an Excel sheet, and on the right end there would be the taxonomy. What we need to do is, we need to simply import our financials into the software. We can see the select file tab on the below. We just need to click on the same. Here we need to select the path where our financials are saved. So we have kept our financials on the desktop. So we'll just browse them and import them into the software. The data gets imported on the left side in this Excel sheet, and on the right side we could see the taxonomy once it's imported. Now this is the autofill detail tab that you could see in front of you. Here we need to enter the labels column number. So our labels column number would be column A. In column A of our financials, I have the names, I have the items of my financials. So it would be 1. Now the column difference between the years, I need to see what is the column difference between my years in which the amounts are placed. So between current year and previous year, there's just one column difference, so it would remain 1 here. With the scroll down option in front of level of rounding, I would need to select, is my data in actual, is it in thousands, lakhs, millions? So it is in actual right now as it is in rupees. So I'll select actual here and I'll press save. My data is imported into my software. I can adjust it as per my need. Right. Now firstly we need to tag the balance sheet. So I'll select balance sheet. Again, I can adjust it as per my requirement. Now you can see this balance sheet taxonomy on the right end. It's the balance sheet taxonomy and all the schedules attached to balance sheet. So I'll just open the balance sheet taxonomy, that is sources and application of funds. I'll just right click here and we have an option of expand all. I'll just click on expand all. My entire balance sheet taxonomy would be opened. Now let's start with the tagging process. For tagging, what we need to do is, now my first item in balance sheet is share capital here, and I have a current year figure and a previous year figure. I'll simply place my cursor on the current year figure in front of the item in the financials, and I would have to search for the most appropriate tag in the taxonomy. So if I look for the appropriate tag, for me, in case of share capital, paid up share capital would be the most appropriate tag. I'll place my cursor on the current year figure in my financials and double click on my tag. My share capital is being tagged. The color would change to yellow, reflecting that this particular item in financials is being tagged. Now for reserves and surplus, this would be the appropriate tag. I'll double click again, it's tagged. Similarly, secured loans, deferred tax liability, net deferred tax liability would be the appropriate tag. So I've tagged the sources. Now let's come to applications. We have gross block here. I'll place my cursor here and tag it. This is depreciation. Accumulated depreciation would be an appropriate tag. I'll double click again. For investments, I have it here, net investments. Now inventories, it would be under current assets. Sundry debtors again here, cash and bank balance, loans and advances, I have current liabilities here, so other current, just a moment, these are the current liabilities. Provision for tax, these are the provisions. I'm left with another item, administrative expenses. So miscellaneous expenditure is the tag. So as for me, I've tagged the entire balance sheet now. You could see the difference in balance sheet current year previous year on the bottom left of your page went to 0. This is an internal validation in our software that would reflect that our entire balance sheet is being tagged. We have tagged every item in the balance sheet. If here You could see a difference in current year and previous year amount. That means you've left an item in balance sheet. Now, there are certain additional features wherein if you go to the tag and you press right click, you could see add schedule option, or else a shortcut would be F4. So as I click on add schedule, I can enter the schedule that is reflecting in my financials. So if I go to reserves and surplus and press right click add schedule, for reserves and surplus B is the schedule that's given. I'll simply save it. We could see the color went red. Now again, for secured loans, I'll just right click here, add schedule. The schedule is C. I'll press save. Schedule is saved here in the taxonomy. The color went red again. This is an internal validation, second internal validation in the software that shows we have tagged the balance sheet item reserves and surplus, but we haven't tagged the schedules for the same. Till the time we don't tag the entire schedule for reserves and surplus and secured loans, the color would remain red. Now, there are certain more features like go to linked cell, or a shortcut key would be F5. If I press go to linked cell, my software would take me to the linked cell in my financials. So you could see in the financials, reserves and surplus is highlighted. Because for reserve surplus in taxonomy, reserves and surplus is the tag, is the item. So it's highlighted here. I have an option of properties here. If in the taxonomy I'm not sure what an item is in context with, I can just right click and press properties, or F6 is the shortcut key. As I click on properties, a property window gets opened. In this property window, you could see the balance type of the item, whether it's a credit balance type or a debit balance type, the data type, period type, and the definition of the same. So we could review the definition and then decide our appropriate tag. This is an additional feature of properties here. In case I've tagged something incorrectly, I have this remove linkage option. I can just press on it and my linkage would be removed. For example, if I have tagged share capital with paid up share capital and it's a wrong tag, for instance, I'll just simply right click here, go to remove linkage, press on the same, my linkage is removed. Now my share capital is detagged. Now once we have tagged an item, we could see that the preferred label appears here. That means for reserves and surplus, the item in my financials was reserves and surplus. Similarly, for accumulated depreciation, accumulated depreciation is the tag for depreciation in my financials. So the preferred label appears here after the amount. Now, as we have entered schedule here, the color was red. I need to tag the schedule. Now what I'll do is, I'll just right click here, press on go to schedule, or else F7 is the shortcut key. As I press on go schedule, my software would take me to the concerned schedule. Now this is my reserves and surplus schedule here. I'll simply right click here and press expand all. My entire reserves and surplus schedule gets expanded. It's getting expanded. Now, I'll just select schedules in my financials. Now this is my schedule for reserves and surplus. I need to tag my schedule now. Share premium opening balance is the first item. So in the taxonomy, we need to search for share premium opening balance. Securities premium, I'll simply again double click here, tagging my item in the financial. Now addition amount received during the year. So addition security premium would be an appropriate tag. We'll double click here, the item would be tagged. Now the profit and loss account, we'll search for profit and loss account here in the taxonomy. We have profit and loss account beginning balance as an appropriate tag. Now add amount transferred from profit and loss account, additions profit and loss account would be the most appropriate tag. We'll double click here, tagging the same. So my reserves and surplus schedule is completely tagged. So we'll just move to the balance sheet. We can see the color went to green, reflecting that my entire schedule for in case of secured loans, we'll press F7 or go to schedule. Our software would take us to the concerned schedule. Now I'll just right click here to expand the entire schedule. We'll place the cursor in an item in secured loan schedule. It is car loan secured. We need to search for the appropriate item. Now loans taken for vehicle secured would be an appropriate tag as per my judgment. So I'll just double click here, tagging the same. We'll again go to the balance sheet. In my taxonomy, I can see the color change to green for secured loans. This means that my entire schedule for secured loans is correctly tagged. Now there's an additional feature in our software as a search tab that we could see on the top right. If I am not finding an appropriate tag, I can just enter it here and search. For example, I need to search a tag for loans and advances. I'll just press loans. I'll just press loans. And advances. So all the tags in the taxonomy relating to loans and advances would appear here. Similarly, if I need to search for a tag for depreciation, all the tags related to depreciation would appear here. This is a search element, search feature that we have in our software. This was the entire financial tagging.